We are now coming up on 30 seconds to acquisition of the command module.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Imagination Labs. My name is Stephanie and I'm meeting you today on the lands of the Walgarookaba and the Bindal people in Townsville in far north Queensland. I'm a mum to 3 daughters. I'm an artist, a lot of other things. I'm also the Vice Chancellor at Imagination University this year. It's great to be hanging out with a full suite of guests on our show. So thank you so much to Harada for pulling all of these threads together and connecting us with these incredible people. Today we'll be talking with ambassadors, global ambassadors of equality, who are people from across the globe who are stepping up to create change and build bridges using unlikely connections as their foundations. We encourage the free flow of ideas on Imagination TV, so feel free to jump in and throw any thoughts or questions in the chat line. And mentors, feel free to jump in if you feel like you have anything to add or follow up on any questions that are asked. Today, I'm joined by our co-host, Brendo. Brendo, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, panel of guests. I'm excited also to talk to you guys what we've done at AIM across Imagination University this year since its inception is take a big risk and trust that people are good and that they want to change the world for the better and make it equal and fair and imaginative and beautiful like it should be. And we kind of, as we take that punt, I'm reassured that there are those people out there coming through as I look at my Zoom screen full of guests and looking forward to hearing from them today. I've been hanging around AIM for about 8 years now. I'm so excited to hear the guts of your stories and how you want to make change across the African lands. Mostly we've got our guests from today. So I come in from Wollongong, the Yuin nation of the Dharawal people today. Thanks for having me. Back to you, Stephanie.
Thank you. Well, let's jump straight into it and meet some of the guests on the call. And it's the second year now of Imagination University, and some of the conversations we've been having are really incredible because we've got people re-enrolling, coming back and building on their projects. And one of our guests is Tanatsiwa from Zimbabwe. How are you today?
Hi, Stephanie. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Excited to chat with you a little bit about what it is you're excited to do this year. And maybe you could start with a bit of an intro of who you are, where you're from, and what you did at Imagination Uni last year. So I know it was a lot that you're able to achieve.
Okay. As I have already been introduced, my name is Tanatsiwa Christabel Dube. I'm a girl aged 17, turning 18 in August. And I am an artist majoring. I do a lot of things, including calligraphy. I'm also a linguist, very interested in languages, and I'm currently at 5 languages. And I am also a writer, which is my major. So last year at Imagination University, I was mainly focusing on dealing with bringing awareness of child abuse as well as domestic violence. It has come to my attention that we as individuals tend to neglect what happens in our community, yet most of us do not realize that what affects an individual affects the global community as a whole. And so I decided to write a book called While We Cry. This book is based on a song music is one of my inspirations, one of my three inspirations, the other two being my emotions as well as the situations that happen to me and around me. So this song, While We Cry, it's actually called Chichichema, which is the translation in Shona.
Oh, we're having
love. Sorry?
All good. You just cut out for a little bit, but we've got you back now.
All right, so this song, it speaks of a wife and a mother who is asking her husband, is this the love that you couldn't teach me? And the first time I heard that song, it actually made me cry. And I realized that if this song could bring about all these emotions to me, what would it do to the global community, especially to people who prefer to read than to listen to music? And I started writing that book, a story of a woman called Portia at the hands of her husband, who is an abuser. So this book, I actually distributed it at our school, my local school, and I've been getting a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people approached me asking that, why don't we actually make an initiative or a club that can actually boost our economy, educate our community about these problems that destroy us slowly. And so that brought about the founding of ICANN. We chose the name ICANN because ICANN can be the start of any sentence. I can sing, I can write, I can draw, I can stop drug abuse, I can solve conflict. And through this organization, we managed to connect with Childline, we managed to connect with the Ministry of Youth, and a lot of other organizations who have been working closely with us, as well as the Gender-Based Violence Desk, as we try to create awareness about the problems that happen to us. This year, my project is mainly focused on peaceful conflict resolution. It has come to my attention that as individuals, we engage in conflicts that mostly result in wars, destruction of property, hunger, famine, and it's human nature to fight, but sometimes we cannot solve this conflict. Instead, we try to solve the effects of this conflict. We give food, shelter, and clothing to those impacted by these conflicts. But instead, what if we tried to create mindsets that prevented wars, not create them? Entrepreneurs that created jobs, not wait for them. Builders that build the community, not destroy it. And so this year, our project is mainly focused on peaceful conflict resolution, starting at a young age, because the saying goes, catch them young. If we teach the young generation, they can actually teach the next generations to implement these ideas, as well as teach the next generations to come on what is the proper way to solve conflicts, as well as build our community. And I guess that's it.
That is a lot. Yeah, I think just so many things in there, and congratulations for being able to spark something for other people to help build on as well. So reinterpreting this song into a book and then having it build out into an organization that other people can connect to, I think that's really powerful, and like a great example of us just providing a stage for young people to take the lead. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to move on now to meet Esther. We got you there, Esther? Oh, maybe
looks like Esther's popped off, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can come back. Let's meet Trey. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you? I nearly forgot to unmute.
Oh, good. We kind of just roll with the punches around here, so we've got you. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us how you're connected to the work that AIM's doing?
So my name is I know it says Trey because that's my nickname, but my name is Tracy. So I'm Tracy. I'm at the University of Pretoria. I'm doing my final year. I'm doing LLB. And so I joined AIM last year. And it was probably just after the thick of lockdown. And it was very difficult to kind of like get involved in the community and, you know, make a difference. So I signed up. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out there. And I don't know, last year was just so impactful on my life because I'm a firm believer of being a difference and adding positivity to the world because there is already enough negativity. So through AIM, I mean, I was able to meet kids who are, you know, from very different walks of life, kids who are willing to listen, kids who are willing to learn, kids who are talented. We had an art day and wow, you could just see talent. You could just see that they needed somebody to say, you can do it. And your talent is valid. We had so many people being expressive through their art. We had them tell us backgrounds on why they drew what they drew and what they painted. And it was so insightful. It was almost as if like we are peeling away a layer of you know, them being vulnerable, but in a safe space. So that was very beautiful. And last year, one of the highlights was the Hoodie Dance, the Hoodie Dance Day. That was very amazing. We had to, you know, get out of our comfort zones because some of us couldn't dance. So as we just had fun, you know, and I think doing the dance kind of also made us as a team, you know, this side become a bit more closer and more comfortable with each other because it's almost like, oh, so you also can't dance? Okay, cool, I'm not the only one. But it was so much fun because after all, to make, you know, to reach certain goals, to reach a certain destination, you need to have a team that works together, a team that actually enjoys being around each other. So that was a highlight for me. It was, you know, fun times. And recently we had market days. So market days are basically, we had some of our team go onto campus at the University of Pretoria. And we just, you know, were telling people who we are. And literally the first minute when we got on campus, because we were already dressed in our t-shirts, our amazing t-shirts, and people were like, how do I get one of those? And we're like, you want to hear how? So that was very easy. But it was so much fun. It was, a lot of people were very stunned. A lot of people were like, oh my goodness, you guys are doing so much. How do I get to be a part of that? How do I jump in? So yeah, it was a great success. It was, I'm actually very positive about the year ahead with the amount of people that are going to be on board with our mission and just willing to make a change in the community. Yeah.
So good to hear that. Like I've been meeting with a lot of people as well and hearing them interpret AIM in their own ways, giving me like fresh perspective, what this means for people in their life. And, you know, you've got me kind of reminiscing as well, because it's been a while since I've been hanging out with kids in the program. So yeah, there's a lot in that, right? When you're connecting with kids, it's like pretty easy. It's just mentoring. But when you get a chance and opportunity to actually peel back those layers so people get a better understanding of themselves and connecting with others, and art, I think, just for me as well, it's a great way to understand and make sense of the world and all the things that we don't necessarily understand with the world and ourselves and all of that. So thanks for joining. And yes, these are incredible shirts. I don't wear this one enough, but I'm glad I wore it today. We also have Augustine on the call. Good to meet you, Augustine. Thanks for joining today.
Hi, Stephanie and everyone. Thank you to Horata for inviting me to the session. So I guess a little bit of background for me is I originally come from South Africa. So then I went to the University of Cape Town. Thereafter, I worked a couple of years in South Africa before moving to Melbourne 4 years ago. And so last year, I joined the University of Cape Town Australian Trust, and the initiative or the idea behind the trust is to really raise capital or assets that can really support the Shoko organization in the University of Cape Town. And I kind of got really interested, and I started researching around mentorship and how we can actually provide more impactful ideas or mentor students at the University of Cape Town. So and that's how I came to meet Budari and Morata to see how AIM is actually working in that area. But so far, what we've come up with is really trying to get people who are in Australian corporates to mentor UCT or the University of Cape Town students who are in their final year. And the idea is that then the final year students will mentor the first year students. So the Shoko organization is very similar to AIM in that they are focused on learners that are in high school. So anyone from the final year to first year students at the UCT or University of Cape Town can really sort of impact the learners in high school. But we wanted to add in an extra layer where we could sort of prepare the final year students in terms of meeting the right people in corporates or in the working environment, and sort of prepare them, introducing them to the right connections, what kind of things that they should expect, and really prepare them for what's to come for their future and the next step of their careers. So I'm just kind of excited to be part of this organization or this chat now, to hear from everyone. Quite inspiring to hear from Tana, Trey as well, and you, Stephanie. So I'm really willing to learn and hear what everyone else has been doing, your approach in impacting younger people and the younger generation. So this is really it's great for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you taking time to join us, and also help build out this whole ecosystem as well of support around people to keep being able to pay it forward. I guess when you get mentoring, you've got knowledge to pass forward, and that's the whole kind of regenerative cycle, right? I'm going to throw to Brendo now to introduce and have a quick whip around with the rest of our guests.
Yeah, I'm so inspired by you guys, particularly Tana. I think that there's something that you've brought to the thinking around doing something now because it needs to be done. And I think often we're sold a little bit of a lie in society where we have to wait for an organization, or we have to wait for a certain degree of popularity or a certain qualification, or maybe, the right circumstances. And when we are here right now, as you said, with the capacity to make change, and you said it so well, you can draw, you can write, and you can. And I think, I often know, particularly from Akanyang, can you describe what is your you can for Imagination University in 2022? What are you looking to do?
Well, for 2022, I believe that I can create a fairer world. I can organize positive change and create mobility for that change in the world. And I believe also that I can achieve anything if I put my mind to it. So for 2022, I believe that this is a year where we can do better than last year, a year that I can achieve greater, we can achieve greater than we achieved last year.
Thanks. Kanyang, would you mind sharing a little bit of your story and what you'd like to do in Imagination University and as part of the AIM network?
Hi everyone, I am Akanya Marufa and I'm from the University of Victoria. I joined in last year, around about after lockdown, just like Tracy. And I've been mostly involved within the Tutor Squad program. And during that journey, I think I reached an epiphany whereby I really enjoyed tutoring these kids, and I think I have developed a new passion of teaching. So right after my law degree, just because of AIM and this initiative, I am planning to enroll for my teaching certificate so that I can eventually be a teacher because it's quite passionate. It's quite it's quite great seeing kids with nothing but really trying to pursue education, and they just need for people to just be there for them and encourage them. Yeah.
Thanks so much for that. And this year we're inviting 200 teachers in to teach with imagination, to take the tools off the shelf and go and bring imagination into the classroom. So obviously welcome back into the network when you've got your teacher's hat on to play with that. Hey, Yolanda, I'd love to hear from you and just, if you could introduce yourself and where you're at and what you plan to do.
Hi, thank you, Brendan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you loud and clear. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So I am Yolanda Sithoto from South Africa. I'm a qualified teacher and I'm currently doing an honors in education, law, management and policy at the University of Pretoria. So I joined AIM back in 2019, if I recall well. From when I joined until last year. So what I want to do to answer your question as to like my vision for this year, or what I think we can achieve through the program this year, is that last year Esther started an initiative for a newsletter, and if you know about it, but she kind of like when they had tutor squads, she documented everything and designed this cool newsletter and that ran by us here at the University of if anyone who's interested. So I was like, I'm interested because I work as a journalist at a campus newspaper here at the University of Pretoria known as BPY. So I was like, I'm interested. So for me, I think I want to see our mentors and mentees here at the University of Pretoria having a voice. I'm big on narrative because I feel like if we're gonna have our own newsletter and document our stories and the stories that our mentees have, we also kind of have, we amplify the program in a way. And it's not even about publishing it or anything like that. For me, it's about giving the mentees a platform to also share their opinions and their stories. And also, we also have stories as mentors. We have our individual stories. So I think the newsletter, that is where it comes in to be able to be a voice and amplify so that we can share our stories. So it's really simple. It's nothing big. We just, for a specific tutor squad, when we take pictures or anything like that, we then document what was happening. The first and the last one that I did last year, because we're just starting out, it was the last day where we were asking mentees what they want to be when they grow up. So I kind of put everything together and compiled a newsletter and like kind of designed it. Nothing high tech, but just it was nice and cool. So I think for this year, if also I can also get more people who'll be interested in writing the stories and sharing the stories, so that next time, maybe if I'm not here or if I'm like no longer an SA or something like that, there's gonna be someone and we're gonna develop this tradition of sharing our stories and like owning the narrative. So I think that is what I'd like to see for this year. And like Tracy was mentioning that we had marketing week, I think also the vision that I have for this year is that we have more mentors who will be willing to help the learners at the schools that we go to. I think it is important that we have more people on the ground so that we can be able to help more learners also and inspire more learners and change lives. So that is the vision that I have. Thank you.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Yolanda, you've got me listening, because my Instagram account, which I did all my promotional stuff, got hacked the other day, and I'm thinking, I'm just going to go make a newsletter. Let's do that. And we don't need to have all these big wild platforms. We sharing our story is ultimate freedom. So thank you so much for doing that for so many mentors and mentees. And I'd love to hear from Benson now. Benson, what's your story, mate? I'd love to hear what you're doing with Imagination University this year.
Yes, thank you so much. Once again, my name is Benson Onyango, and I am from Uganda. Majorly, I've joined IME this year, and first and foremost, I also lead a charity, a youth-led organization called Generation Agenda. What we mainly do is to empower young activists to take action and lead change in their communities. So we've been mentoring them in leadership and also training them in entrepreneurship and livelihood skills. And yeah, I can say we've been able to reach a considerable number of youths. Last year alone, we're able to reach out to 200 girls during the lockdown period who would not access sanitary pads. So we trained them how to make reusable sanitary pads, and also distributed up to 500 packs of reusable sanitary pads. So we are empowering young people to be self-sustaining. But also what I will be doing with IMAGI-NATION University this year is that we are taking a bold step to make sure that we support the ambassadors, the university ambassadors in Uganda, those who will be joining us. So we'll be mentoring them in different aspects, especially when it comes to making sure that we achieve equality, especially for the young people. So I'll be working with the ambassadors at Cavendish University and from Makerere University also. Makerere is the oldest university in East Africa, and it is the biggest as well. So that is what we will be doing this year with IMAGI-NATION University. So we are moving from just supporting the young people in communities to supporting those who are in the universities, because we believe that these scholars influence a lot in their communities. And if we can empower them, that means that they can be able to empower their colleagues in the university and also in their communities. So that is what we will be looking at this year. Otherwise, I would like to reiterate my commitment and also thank IME for this opportunity. It's a very great one for me. I am 28 years old, just to echo that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Benson, and thank you right back at you, mate. You're inspiring us and you're inspiring all those people you're working with, and thank you for moving forward and doing the work. And feel free to tap people on the shoulder to bring them into the network and just do good work, just because it needs to be done. And I'd love to just quickly, before we head to Abdul, just ask, what does imagination what role does imagination have in the world today and in your life?
I think IMAGI-NATION first and foremost will give me an opportunity to reach out to the young people that I wouldn't have got access to otherwise, because I've not been working with the institutions. And I think this is a platform for me to reach out to these young people and probably notice some of the young leaders who are passionate and courageous in these institutions. It is the first time that I'm going to be working with university, but I'm already excited. I think that I have a lot to learn from here, and much as I also have a lot to give. Yeah, so I think it's a great platform for me as a person and also my organization. So I am looking forward to starting the year. Thank you.
Fantastic, mate. And look, I'm just yelling out to Ben Knight, our comms manager, just to get his ears across this episode, because there's plenty of stories emerging that the world needs to hear about you guys. And Abdul, would you like to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about your experience with AIM and IMAGI-NATION University?
While we wait for Abdul, maybe we can swing back and see if Esther's able to introduce herself. We got you there, Esther?
Yes. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Esther Obasa. I'm from South Africa. Oh, no, I'm from Nigeria, but I study in South Africa at University of Venda. So I've been part of AIM since 2019. I was introduced to AIM by Simba Rashe. And ever since then, my first year I was an intern at AIM when they were still Hoodie Scholar and everything. So we had a game created about pick a coin. So each and every week, all the mentors would gather and then would gather all the 50 cents and with different years, and then we'll put it in a bowl. And then you could just randomly pick a coin, and then you then have to share your experience of what happened during that year that it's on the coin. So you'd find out that some people pick 1995 and be like, oh, that's the year I was born. And well, as much as I can remember, this is what happened and stuff like that. So that way we were able to get to know our mentors from a personal level, and we're able to share our personal experience and just be in a safe space. So we extend the game to high school students that we work with, and we got to find out more about their lives, what they're going through, the experiences, and you'll be amazed of things that people had actually gone through at a very young age. And so last year, I came up with the idea of the newsletter because we kind of realized that after COVID started, people weren't turning up. Mentors weren't that much excited to turn up for tutor squads and everything. And mentees also were always like, oh, I have to go home, and everything. So I'm like, how about we create a newsletter so that people get acknowledged for the work that they're doing? And when you see your friends in the newsletter, be like, oh yeah, I want to be there next week because I also want to be in the newsletter. So in each and every weekly, so the newsletter became a weekly thing. So every time we go for tutor squads, we get reflections and then we get reports from mentors and everyone. And I just put them together and be like, and then there will be a theme that aligns with AIM 16 values. So I remember the news that I wrote was about kindness, or it was about making time actually. So the fact that we're able to make time for one another, and it just went on from there, like weekly newsletter with one value from AIM that aligns with whatever they had to do that week. And it just seems interesting. So every week we'd print out the newsletter and they would take it back to the high school, show it to the principal, and then they'll post it on their notice board. And then students were so excited to see themselves and see that, okay, the pictures were not taken for free. And the things that they said was actually in the newsletter. So it was actually fun. And the mentors started turning up, mentors started turning up too. And people just finally got involved, So that was a great initiative from our team. And I think other things that we do at Univen is usually every year we get invited to local schools, primary school, secondary school for career guidance with other universities. So AIM mentors would go and represent University of Venda with other experts in, let's say, health science. Those who are available, we just take the perspectives and then we'll go there and just share our experience, personal experience, not sugarcoat anything. Like, okay, I studied biochemistry and microbiology. This is my experience. So if you want to go through it, it's all well and good, but it's not all rosy and, the way it's pictured to be. So you guys should, if you want to go for science course, then you should know that you should, buckle up your shoes, because it's still going to get more crazy than this. So you guys should enjoy your high school and make the best out of it. So that is what we're doing with career guidance. And then, so moving forward this year, we're open that we can continue a mentee initiative of book club. A mentee actually started a book club in a school to improve English speaking and, from a very younger age. So we're hoping to keep supporting her for the book club. And then we're hoping to continue with the newsletter too. And also, our new initiative for this year is to create an affordable science fair for high school students, because like most local high school, well, when I was in high school, we didn't have a science lab. So I think my first science lab was when I went to varsity. So so the initiative has come from me and Witali and all the team to say, you know what, how about we create an affordable science fair project, like titration, like acid and base test, something that doesn't really need much of the lab and the lab coats and everything and stuff like that. And then we can get people from the Department of Science at school to donate their beakers that they no longer use, and just go there. Or even if they want to, you might even find master students that are willing to sacrifice their time and just go there and show students like, okay, there's fun in science. So also, and this initiative is also to improve math and science in the rural areas, so that people can really get involved in math and science, because we all think math and science is boring and it's exhausting. So this is, I think, this would be a great initiative for students to be like, okay, fine, there's more to life than just calculations and and classroom. And we're also trying to decolonize the classroom space through storytelling. So we'll go to so this year we're thinking our program day should be at your school, but then at an outside form of, not in the classrooms and stuff. So we're trying to change the narrative of learning and making sure that we just get people interested and stay interested. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch Star Wars, I think it is, but Yoda said there's no try, only do. And I think you're definitely doing that, like you're changing the narrative for sure. And I love the talk about the newsletters and putting stories out for others to see, because we can change, like there's so much power in storytelling, I think, in flipping the narrative, not only for ourselves, but for how other people see us, how they see the world around them. Yeah, we're looking at some creative ways for us to share that internally as well this year. Sorry, just speaking for us. Talk about keeping it real. I had to tell my daughter to turn her iPad down. But yeah, we're looking at some ways to encourage that storytelling and sharing as well across the 1,000 ambassadors that we've got in the uni this year, well, our targets. Which will essentially become like our own kind of feed, so we can see what other people are doing, comment on it, and get super inspired about what everyone's doing. Abdul, have we got you there? Is it Abdul?
I think we might be pronouncing his name wrong. That's why when we're calling him in, he doesn't come in.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got you. How are you?
I'm good. Are you? My name is Abdul. I'm usually called Triple A by my mentees. So I'm originally from Nigeria, but I study here in Uganda. I pursued my bachelor's in international relations here. But true to him, the role of leadership I've taken into, because AIM has really helped me a lot in time of standing in for people. So, and I was very, very happy and glad to meet Shaka, because if I had a meeting in my first year at university, it would be, I would like said, I won't be I'll be in position that I am now, because really AIM as you really use me to impart on different students and my university students and also the mentees we are working with. As of last year, we know that generally Uganda has a long period of lockdown, so we are not able to meet with our mentees, but we find a way of reaching out to them during Twitter squad, and with no situation that came of hardship. So we also look for a way of trying to reach out to their communities and provide the need for them so that they shouldn't feel that education is not that by the way. But truly, uh, truly this year, I hope with Benson and other mentees here, other ambassadors that we have, we'll try as much as possible to try to bring new things to the table, because what I'm basing on this year is diversity. We are trying to diverse our attention to even to reach out to the community, not only high schools, because now in Uganda, basically, there are students during 2 years of lockdown. There are some high school students that were pregnant, but they are not allowed to come back to school. So we are trying to find a way of reaching out to some of those mentees and some of those students to try and make them feel and stand for them, because I know with all the proper channels, our goal will be achieved. And basically, what I would say that him has given me opportunity to be even be awarded a scholarship at Cavendish now. I'm pursuing my master's in security studies. So I will say him has done everything for me for the past 3 years I've been with you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well. Putting that thanks back out to you, because the work that everyone does alongside of us is super important to building this whole world out together. And, you know, something that I think we could probably all agree on is that, you know, the last couple of years have been difficult. We've had to problem solve together. And it's not just in our world, it's like the whole world to problem solve and figure out like some of these. Sorry, let me just pause for a minute before I go into somewhere that doesn't make any sense, to make sure that we're able to stay healthy and safe through COVID. But then when we're looking at some of these bigger issues in the world in terms of climate change, we know we've got to kind of ramp up the imagination level in all areas so that we can address some of these issues really creatively and effectively. So now that we've had a chance to do some introductions around, I think it would be great to do a bit of an open panel kind of discussion with everyone to see what you think the value of imagination is and what role it can play in education this year. So over to you to jump in. Maybe you want to kick us off, Brendo?
Thanks, Steph.
Let people have a bit of a think and digest. It's a big question. I know it's like,
yeah, no, it's a beauty. It's a beauty. Absolutely, and I think, you know, there's no better person to be asking that question, coming from you, who sort of lives and breathes that imagination as, you know, leading the university. And I'd love to know, like, what you guys think from your perspective, from your. We've got quite a few talented minds on the call. What role does imagination play in education going forward, let's say over the next 10 years? Keys to the City. Has anyone ever played that game? Keys to the City is where we just leave the microphone on the table, and I'm just going to leave it on the table and see who picks it up. Anyone can pick it up and jump in.
Yeah, can I say something? I think
yeah, for sure.
I think imagination really has, without us not imagining, we cannot have ideas to think broader, because you imagine to bring those imagination to reality. Like, I will say example for myself. I've set an imagination that by so year of my life, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, which probably I will say that quarterly of that has been done. When I was coming to Uganda, I said, hopefully, I imagine that after my bachelor, I'm going to pursue my master's. And now I'm on it. So imagination with determination always always drive. I would say drive and give us that push to dream about everything. Dream about what we have always put in mind and create and keep it as a picture in our head. Because if you imagine it and you didn't dream about it and you didn't make way for it, it won't be possible. So imagination has to do with everything that we are doing. And when we imagine, we try as much to go at it.
Yeah, I love that. It creates the vision so that we can dream about what it is we want to achieve before we see the path, before we build and walk it. Anybody else have any thoughts they want to contribute?
Okay, I think I'll go next. For me, imagination has always been something way out of this world. I think everybody can do anything with imagination, and if it is integrated with education, then it makes the world a better place. Because I think even the technology, all the kind of technologies that we're using right now, was from imagination. You know, aim is also from imagination. So I'm thinking 10 years from now, and imagination is integrated into education, then we are in it for the best the best 10 years of our lives. And it allows people to think outside the box and, be emotionally intelligent, be a good problem solver, a great thinker, and, just use the full capacity of our brain to solve problems and to create fun and to just impact people's lives, and and not just everything should be a square shape of a box. So I think imagination it's a really great tool that people have been using, and people just don't know, because you wake up and then you think of, how did this person come up with an iPhone, or how did they come up with a Samsung phone, or how do we have electricity? And it's all from an imagination. I mean, the airplanes and the cars and everything, it's all from an imagination of how about to move from point A to point B and spend less time, or spend less energy, like the washing machine. So it's all from an imagination. So I think an imagination is actually an important part of our lives that we don't use enough, and we should really cultivate using imagination to create a better life for everyone.
Yeah, love the way you framed that with getting outside of the box as well. So Brendo actually told me something a little while ago that saw me just see the whole world differently. And I think it's a quote, I'm not sure who from, but maybe Buddha, I'm not sure, that the journey, when talking in terms of life, like the obstacles are the journey. And when you get a bit of an acceptance that you're going to face these obstacles, you don't feel as frustrated, I guess, when you're met with them. And if we don't have imagination as a way to design our way around, over and under, and to remove these obstacles, then, if you're experiencing marginalisation, for example, there's some real obstacles in access to education. If we don't have imagination as our kind of superpower to do that, then do you just sit still in the box with what other people have kind of designed for you? So I love that contribution as well. I think because this is such a huge kind of topic as well to talk about, it's great to hear some thoughts, but maybe we can end the show by borrowing from Tanitsiwa's phrase where she was talking about her book and leading it with the statement of "I can." And I think it would be great if we went around the call to say "I can," followed by something that you believe you can do in maybe the next year or so while you're connected to the work at AIM. And let's kick off with Tanitsiwa.
Hi again. For me, I wouldn't even know where to start because I believe I can do a lot of things. But the main I can for me this year is I can do and achieve whatever that I can put my mind to in trying to create mobility for positive change in the world.
It's so brilliant, Tana. I want to stay in touch and see what the year shows for you and all of you guys. I want to see what the year shows for you. What is your I can for the next 10 months as we sort of work together as this weird network of people? I'm going to throw it to Augustine. What is your I can?
I guess for me, for the next 10 months, I think it might be safe to say I can mobilize or integrate or find a solution in how we can better mentor students at the University of Cape Town, in preparing them better for corporate culture and the world going forward.
Thank you so much, Augustine. I'm going to throw mine in there. I can every day wake up and be present. And when I see people, I can really see them rather than seeing just another obstacle to the, thing I want to do. So that's kind of my I can. Hey, Yolanda, do you want to give us your I can for the next 10 months?
Hi, thank you, Brendan. So I think my I can for the next 10 months is that I think I can be able to make sure that the newsletter is up and running so that we can be able to share our stories and what we get up to here at the University of Pretoria.
So brilliant. And let's go to Akanyang. Can you share your I can for the next 10 months?
Hi, everyone again. I believe that I can be there for the kids and also be a beacon of hope for them and work towards an environment that's safe and conducive for them to learn.
Yeah, brilliant. As we keep going around, I'm sure there's some people want to jump in. Trey, what are you thinking?
I just got a whole lot of I cans in my mind, but the biggest one, and I've been very fervent on it, is appreciating every single second of my day, literally. Just finding things to be grateful for, because that affects how you carry yourself. You become more positive. You start attracting positivity as well. So that's my big I can. My other I can is with regards to AIM especially, is to motivate young minds to see beyond now, to see almost like, the whole imagination thing, to unlock a spirit of I'm working towards this goal. I'm working towards something that is bigger than I am right now. And I'd say maybe another I can is to allow people to see the best in themselves, especially high schoolers. It's so easy to absorb negativity. It's so easy to absorb someone saying, no, you can't do something. But if I can say, okay, you have this talent, you are good in this, and actually share it with somebody and seeing the best in them, it can change their trajectory. Like, it can change so much about their lives. So that's, yeah, those are my I cans.
All right, Steph, I've got to ask you, buddy, what's your I can, as you've, let me just take a moment, because you've zoomed right out to lead the university space, and you've learned and you've gone and really walked through that imagery, that sort of artistic imagery that the Abdul was talking about, and you've seen what we can do in this network. As you pull back and look at that, what is your I can from your point of view?
I can, and this is, so I've been on a huge learning journey, learning every day. I'm very new to the work that we're talking about in terms of like complexity and trying to change the way the world works. And with that comes a lot of work, which is okay, because it's part of the territory, and that's why we have incredible people to do that with us when we're activating intelligence to show the world that there's value in this intelligence, people that are previously looked at as maybe not so valuable. I can, for myself, keep believing, and I don't want to cry, but keep believing that what I have to offer is enough, and I can keep building this space out for other people to see that this is a place that what you have is enough, and it's actually incredible, and we can do this together. And yeah, that's my I can.
Yeah, so brilliant, Steph, and I'm 100% on that journey with you, as is the whole panel today, tonight, wherever you are. And let's just throw, to round out the show, let's just throw to a very sweet, simple yet complex articulation of what dreams are, and how dreams, I suppose, can travel through the minds of us as we contemplate our I can, as we sort of spearhead this network through Imagination University. Thanks for coming on the show tonight and today, guys. We'll throw it to the video.
We want to try and work out, where do dreams come from? So what do you think? Where do dreams come from?
From the dream time.
What are dreams?
Comes from your imagination.
What is that?
It's like a world of things that you think of.
What do you guys dream about?
Riding a unicorn and a turtle on its back.
A turtle on the back of the unicorn, or the turtle and the unicorn next to each other, with you sort of one leg on each?
Next to each other, I'd say.
Next to each other.
Who's powering the movement?
A cheetah.
What do you dream about?
Being rich.
Echiloto chichi.
I want to know, what's a dream?
A train is something that runs on the rails, and it takes people from Brooklyn to the Bronx, or from Queens to Brooklyn.
Who makes dreams?
Us. Your brain? I reckon dreams are clouds what like are in your head, and like they picture all the stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do actually.
I think I go to sleep and my bed takes me to this stuff.
Your bed takes you?
Yeah, it kind of flies and takes me to these places when I sometimes have dreams.
What is your dream? Do you have a dream?
I dreamed about dinosaurs. You can dream about like you're in a forest, or a jungle.
I have dreams when I'm a green guy who can turn into animals.
Who invented dreams?
Martin Luther King.
When do you reckon the first ever dream was ever had?
1981.
So since 1981, when the first dream was had, have all people since that moment been able to dream?
No.
Why do you think no?
Sometimes people need to see stuff and hear stuff to dream. Or some people don't because they can just stay up and don't go to sleep. Yeah, I reckon every kid has a dream. But sometimes you have a scary dream, like on Halloween you might have a scary dream.
And those bad dreams are so, like scary. Sometimes you dream about when you are in a scary hotel where there's vampires and zombies and skeletons that are still alive.
How much do you think dreams cost to make?
$10.
$10?
That's a well-priced dream.
What do you think, Bob?
The amount that you have to pay the hospital to get yourself out of your mom's belly.
What is psychology?
Psychology. We don't know the word that we call psychology. And that word is confusing us. We don't know. Psychology. Psychology.
Why do you think we use imaginations? Why as human beings, why do we have an imagination?
You can go off into far places. I don't know. It's hard. Really hard.
Why is it hard?
It's just hard.
Well, that might be our time.